Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Make New Marketing podcast. I'm Mia, and this is Grace. And every week we have cozy marketing chats all about how we can make marketing new and more meaningful and different to the salesy, hustle culture, hooky thing that it's
Yeah.
become. Because we believe that it can be bite sized, doable, and that we should bring it back to what it has always and should always be about, which is connection and just really how to serve your community well.
Yeah.
And today we're going to be talking about how to find your cozy content personality because the whole idea with like cozy content, before we go into this, it's something that feels warm and inviting to make content, to watch all of that rather than intimidating. So when we talk about cozy marketing, cozy content, yes, it's great if you can sit and do it in your pajamas, and there's so much that we can, make more cozy in the sense of what we're doing, but also just how we're approaching it mentally and physically to make it feel inviting and less intimidating.
Yeah.
So we feel,
Like
excited
doing
to
it.
go do it and we feel safe going to do it. And that's
Yeah.
kind of where the whole cozy things comes from. So how can we start finding our content personality and making that feel less intimidating, more cozy and doable so we actually show up and do it and our real personality shines through because we're really having fun and
Yes.
enjoying doing it. I'm not going to say you're going to feel warm butterflies every time it's time to make content and it's not going to feel like a job sometimes. But I have thought a lot recently how there's content that when we put it out, I'm excited to go see
Yes. Me
what
too.
people are saying.
Me
I'm
too.
excited to put it up and there's a little bit, and I'm not saying it's going to feel like that every single time.
Right.
I think it's trial and error a bit. And there might even be types of content that are necessary to put out for your business that don't
Yeah.
always feel warm and cozy. But I think we can try more than not to make it feel more warm and cozy and
Well,
less intimidating and exciting.
romanticize your marketing.
Yeah.
Remember this whole romanticize your life thing has been a fad for a minute now. I feel like
Yeah.
the same vibe can be applied to your marketing, and you can be having fun and you can be getting creative and you can get yourself out of this rut where it feels like a chore because we've done it. Because even
Hmm.
we as creatives have gotten into that rut of like, well, what are we supposed to be saying? What are people,
Hmm.
supposed to learn from us or whatever. Now I think we've really started to crack the code on just how to make it more fun and fresh.
Yes, totally agree. So this is fresh on my mind
Okay.
because I really started thinking about, which goes along with what you're saying and everything and this cozy content thing. Obviously, not all posts, again, can just be behind the scenes posts or like posts like that are fun or just trends and everything. But it really got me to thinking because we every now and then do these fun posts where we might show some behind the scenes, we might
Mhm.
show some kid photos, and so we hopped on a trend that we've been loving. We're not trend hoppers, we're not people who chase trends, but every now and then a trend comes along where I'm like obsessed, love it.
Yeah.
Like this is
Yeah.
what trends should be. This is what marketing
Yes.
should be because this is really connecting people. This is something that anyone can go do and have fun with, and it's really connecting people. And so, y'all have probably seen the trend that's like a kid photo, and then it's saying, this is who you're asking to
Yeah.
understand taxes or, whatever. So, we did our version of that last night. It was really cool because Grace had messaged me and said, hey, I got a post for us tonight. And she's like, go look at it. And then I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, we're on the same like wavelength because I've been wanting us to do this trend too.
It was perfect. Yeah.
And so we posted it and I started thinking to myself, I got excited before the post went up because I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. I love this. And then I got really excited to see what the community was saying and
Yeah. Me
everything and
too.
like, commenting back to people and stuff. And I was like, gosh, what if it could be like that every time or more, say 9 times out of 10,
Yes.
8 times out of 10? What if it could be like that?
It would be a
And
dream.
yeah, and I'm like, it should
It
be.
can be.
Like, it's a form of, I know, yes, there's data and there's all these non-creative artsy things, the things that make the creatives go, ugh, like toes curl in your socks, please no.
Yeah.
Which also, when people say toes curl in your socks, I don't know. I don't really get that expression very much. My toes can't curl very much. I always think of that when I'm reading like my romance books, and she's like, "Oh, when he said that, it made my toes curl in my socks." And I'm like, "How much are your toes curling?
I
Mine
love
just barely move."
I love that you just used it as a phrase and then you're like, that doesn't actually
Yeah,
mean
my
anything
toes
to
don't
me.
actually curl very much, but you know what I mean, like
Funny.
where you're
That's
just like,
funny.
ugh, when you have to think about numbers and data and all that. And yes, there is a part of social media that's like that. But I think we've forgotten that creating content, getting on social media, sharing what we're passionate about, it's an art. Like
Yes.
it's a type of art.
It's
And me and a
expression.
friend were actually having a conversation the other day. We went and had coffee at this really cute coffee place in Asheville called the Asheville Club. It's
Ooh.
actually we actually didn't have coffee. We had cocktails, but it has coffee and cocktails.
Oh,
I
oh,
got a
even better.
black cherry martini. It was so good, so, so
Ooh.
good. But we were talking about how, in life, we put rules on so many things and, like, maybe you've been educated in something or you have experience in something, and a lot of the time that ends up sucking the fun out of it.
Yep.
Like, it takes the creativity out of it and, like, how are there really rules when it comes to art and how you see things? And I really think that people who allow themselves to be really creative and outside of the box, those are the ones that a lot of the time people find what they've created really awesome and
Yes.
beautiful. And I think it's fear and all these walls and rules that we give ourselves that keep us
It's
from
so true. If
doing that.
you're a creative, lean into that, okay? Most of
Yes.
you that listen to this are. If you're a creative, be creative in every aspect of your business. That sounds silly to say out loud, but I have to remind myself of that all the time. If I'm feeling like the content that I'm producing is drudgery and I'm not having any fun with it,
Yeah.
nobody else is going to either. It's not benefiting me or anybody else. But leaning into my creative giftings, making things fun
Hmm.
and colorful and exciting and out of the box, that should be the goal, and that's
Yeah.
something that it's right there, you just have to let yourself do it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
because there's really no rules. Like, there's things we can do that have been proven to work. We've talked some about that with like hook storytelling. We talked about that in a previous episode that we did about that. But like, ultimately, sharing your vision, your personal experience, your passion, like all of that is really what we want to do to be
Yeah,
able to genuinely connect with people. So when we were talking about this over coffee, um, we were talking about how she was bringing up because she is a music major. And so she was bringing up how her and her husband were listening to Billie Eilish sing. And she was talking to him about how, like, from a technical standpoint, Billie Eilish does like all the things that you not good for your like vocal
right,
health and
right.
stuff like that, like very whispery, all of that. And so he was talking to her. He's like, but just because she's doing it the wrong way, it's impacted people, so, like, does that mean she's done it wrong? If it's
Exactly.
impacted people and if people enjoy how she does it, even if it's not the right way to do it, and so me and her were talking about that,
That's
and I was like,
good.
"Honestly, yeah, I think it's a weird conversation because yes, I think there are right and wrong ways to do things, but really when it comes to art and doing something in your unique way, is there really a right or a wrong way
That's
at the end
great.
of the day if it impacts people in a
Yeah,
positive manner?
yeah,
And I was like, that's really interesting. And so of course, being marketer, social media person, I'm thinking about how we do that in social media. I'm like, wow, how do we
break the mold.
how do we kind of break through that? Because yeah, there are things on social media you can do to improve your performance, but I mean, really at the end of the day, I've been humbled so many times as a marketer, and if any marketer out there tells you they haven't been humbled by managing social media accounts or other things, I guarantee you they're lying because
Mhm.
we have been doing this for over 6 years now, and I can't tell you the amount of times I've been humbled by because I'm big on experimenting, we both are. Because we know at the end of the day, we can bring our experiences in, we can share that, but like the best way, every brand is different. So the best way to figure out what is going to resonate with their community is through trying things and then
Mhm,
looking at the data. This is
uh-huh.
where data comes in on it, on what the community reacted best to.
Yes. Well,
And there's so many times that I thought something was going to do well. And then I'm like, "Oh,
yeah,
this other thing did well?" So, like, is there really no rules? And yeah, there's what
yeah.
connects people. Like, that's the rule, really, at
Right,
the end of the
right.
day.
Well, I think we underestimate our audience a lot of times, at least I do. Like, you assume that people want a specific thing from you, and that if it's not, like, I don't know, polished enough or whatever, like, "Oh, I'm not gonna feel
Yeah.
legitimate," they're not gonna like this, but I think what's actually true is that your audience is really a reflection of you most of the time. Like, if you're talking about your people that you resonate the most with, they're gonna
Mhm.
like what you like, and they're gonna wanna see the kinda stuff that you wanna see. And
Mhm.
so, you should let that actually be a little bit of freedom for you, right? Like
Yeah.
like have more fun with it because they're probably going to resonate with what you resonate with, you know? I was thinking about like some of these Instagram trends that got started on accident, like I don't know, like remember the one that was going around that was like this is who you're actually emailing or whatever and
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like,
that was
oh,
another one that I was so excited to post. I was
yeah,
like,
exactly, because it's so fun. You get to show, like, your wild side. I'm sure the first person that did that trend didn't expect, like, "Okay, this is gonna be a viral
yeah,
trend. I'm trying to create that." No, they did something a little out of the box and a little weird, and people loved it and
mhm,
then started doing it for themselves. I think, I don't know, we're just so quick to underestimate our audiences and be like, "Well, they won't wanna see that. That's too much. I'm gonna
yeah,
be seen as crazy or whatever," but just try it. Try some things.
yeah.
Like,
Guess what?
what do you have to lose?
You can archive the post. You can,
Literally.
you can try, and if it doesn't work, you don't do it again. That's what I
Yeah.
tell clients all the time when they're like, "Do you really think people would be interested in this? Or you really think I should do this?" I'm like, "The only way to figure it out is try.
Yeah.
And then we'll know." We'll
Yeah.
know after we try, and that's where I think, yes, there's all these tips and stuff that we can give you based on what we've seen work on social media and stuff. And yeah, there are things that are, proven to maybe keep attention spans more. Editing a video where there's a bit more cuts in it and you're not just watching the same thing so your eyes are getting bored or
Yeah.
whatever. Sure, but like at the end of the day, experiment,
Yeah.
because you really do not know until you experiment. And I really believe that's where the technical side of social media comes in more than anything, is just paying attention to once you've posted things, simply looking at how many views did you get? How many likes did you get? Did you get some comments and like interactions on it? If you did, probably resonated with people. Even if you're a tiny account and you got 5 likes instead of 2 likes, it resonated a bit more with people. So even those small increases, I think that's where the technical side comes in. But other than that, I really do. I think we can look at it as art. I think we need to be careful not to overcomplicate it,
True.
because sometimes with like our artistic side, we might make life a little harder on us. I think we need to remember to keep it simple. Remember, it can be simple, but bring a little bit of that artistic side to us. And if there's something really special we want to do out of the box, it's just maybe a bit more
Mhm.
laborious to
Labor intensive.
do, then plan a shake up post once a week,
Yeah.
once a month. And you can put a little bit more, I sometimes call those like a power post, because you can put a little bit more oomph behind
Yeah.
those because you're not overcomplicating
Yeah.
99% of your posts. So
Right.
that post you can really maybe
Spend
make
more
a little
time
more
on.
complicated without burning yourself out. But yeah, I would say the biggest thing when it comes to finding your cozy content style and all of this is experimenting. But what I really want to challenge you to do, and this is what we're going to be doing for ourselves, is like, what are those posts that when we go to post them, we're
You feel
excited to
excited
post them?
about. That's
We're
so
like,
good.
ooh, I feel excited to do this, you
What will
know?
people
I'm not
say
saying
about
there
this?
won't be fear there. I'm not saying there might be a little bit of fear, there might be a little bit of anxiety, butterflies, whatever, we're gonna deal with those. But what are the things that you feel excited to post when you go to hit post on them, even if there is a little fear there? What are the things that once you've posted, you're excited to see what your community has to say about them? And
Mhm.
maybe you're not getting comments yet, and that's okay, but are you excited to hop on and
Yeah.
see if somebody's
That's a
commented, you
great
know?
that's a great, indicator. Yeah, your
Yes.
level of excitement, I think, is a great indicator of if you're really making the kinda content that,
Yes.
you
And
wanna make.
then making sure it fits your lifestyle, like we just said. Like, don't overcomplicate it. It does need to fit your
Yeah,
lifestyle.
don't
So
spend
how
hours.
can what would this look like? So now you've got your creativity going, all of that. Okay. So now what would that look like if it was simple to do? So then get your creativity going, look at what posts you're enjoying doing, all of that. And then when you get those ideas, what would this idea look like if it was if it was simple for me to execute?
Yeah,
If it's
that's good.
something that maybe can't be simple at all, or you really want to put your all into it, then plan that shake up post once a week,
Mhm.
once a month, whatever you can handle there. And then give yourself that little extra time once your other posts are taken care of,
To
that
pour into
like,
them.
okay, those are scheduled, whatever. I can like have a little fun with this one now
Yeah,
and there's not as much pressure.
yeah.
And then once it's up, look at the simple views, likes,
How
comments,
did it do?
shares.
Yeah,
The social media platforms make it easy to see that. And so, yeah, like just pay attention
pay
to what
attention.
are your people enjoying?
Right.
And a big thing that we do that also I feel like helps with kind of making sure we feel balanced in that is we use content cornerstones. So we have these different cornerstones that, here's where we're posting about our business happenings, products, things like that. Here's where we're posting our behind the scenes. Here's where we're posting something fun and relatable. And that really helps. So maybe if you have like content pillars or cornerstones, maybe it's doing this for each one of them to find that type of content in each cornerstone, each content
Mhm.
pillar, whatever it is that you have those feelings for and that people resonate with
Yeah.
and respond well to.
Yeah, that's really good. I have, um I have something to share that's been exciting for me in social media lately. So, I don't know if you grew up like a DisneyChannel.com, like, games kid. Like, I don't know
Hmm.
if you were online playing those all the time.
Yes.
I definitely was. All of them, Webkins, Club Penguin, all that. But, like, the quizzes on
Yes.
17magazine.com,
Loved.
big fan, right? Like, there's something so sleepover vibes about, like, taking a little quiz that's gonna, like, tell you something about yourself or whatever. So, I've been trying to channel that lately into marketing because I love, an Instagram poll. That is
Hmm.
something I've been really into, again, lately for our clients. I like thinking of fun questions to ask that people will actually engage with, and it doesn't have to be as I don't know, like, it can be fun and it can feel like maybe not as related to your business as, like, you
Yeah.
think that it should be. Bonus points, though, if you can then tie it in to something that you're trying to get them to do or sell, some call
Hmm.
to action at the end is awesome, but even just something fun in the stories that will get them to slow down and click and be like, "Oh my gosh, wait, that's fun."
Yes.
That's upping their engagement with you, right? The more that they
Hmm.
engage with your stories, the better that, fuels the
Telling
algorithm and everything.
Instagram, hey, I want to see more of this because they're
Yeah.
engaging with it.
But I'm doing this for people because I like answering these. Like, that's
Yeah.
something that's exciting to me that feels like a fun game versus, like, the same old thing that you see in
Yes.
stories now, which is people just trying to sell you something. I think that there's something, like, very girlhood about that, right? Like,
Yeah.
go back to your roots, have it be something fun. The other thing, I will always stop if I'm scrolling through Facebook, I will always stop and read those stupid, like, questionnaire style statuses that people do where it's like,
Yes.
coffee or tea, like, Mexican or Chinese, like, mountains or beach. Like, I eat that up. I
I
don't know
know all
why.
the answers, but I'm gonna
Yes.
go answer them anyways.
Thank you, and, like, even if it's
Yeah.
somebody that I know really well, like, I like reading those for whatever reason. I think it just it's you're a little bit nosy, and it's just a little bit of insight into
Yeah.
somebody's personality, and I think, again, like, let your audience know more about you. Do one of those. Do a this or
Mhm.
that thing in your stories or, share an anecdote. Like, people like reading that.
Mhm.
Therefore, let them in a little bit and let them see that stuff about you.
Agreed. And so pay attention to those things as you
Yeah.
start creating, pay attention to what people are engaging with. And yeah, don't be afraid to try out humor. One thing I
Yep.
realized
Oh, yeah.
that I would love to do more in our content is I'm not a serious person. Like, I get so excited when I'm making like a funny meme or something for a
Yes.
client. And I'm like, who says we can't do that for our
That's
stuff?
so
Like, maybe we can
true.
just do some of that for ours, And like, how can we bring humor into this? Because we both like to goof off and
Yeah.
joke around. And that's more like who we are, and just things like that. So don't be afraid to try encouragement, humor, whatever that is that just lights you up. You know, don't overthink it too much on like, "Oh, well, I'm not funny," or, just go do it.
Tired of
If
it.
no one finds it funny, that's fine. You found it funny,
Yeah.
and
This
and
is your
so
this is your
try it
friendly
out.
kick in the pants. This is your friendly kick in the pants
Mhm.
to have more fun with your marketing because if no one else is gonna tell you to do that, we're gonna tell you to do that because
Yes.
we have to remind ourselves to do that too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
because it is. You
you
get
get in the
pulled
rut.
by all the, like, "Oh, but if I do that, I'm gonna miss out on this,"
Yeah,
or, "If I do that, I'm not doing it right,"
right.
or
Or I'm not being taken seriously, like,
yeah.
some of that is born out of a fear too of being a little bit more vulnerable on the internet, but the more you do it, the more it'll become second nature to you too.
Yes. And you'll probably wake up and start liking, this business that you dreamed
Yes.
about building a little more that now you probably hate.
Yeah, you didn't leave your old life behind to
No,
show up here and be, like, bored of the content you're making, like
because that's
and
what we do.
also
We leave this 9 to 5 because 'cause we're miserable, and
yes,
then we build this an even more restrictive of a cage for
yes,
ourselves and become miserable. But then we realize here's the hard thing we have to realize once we do that, some of our misery is our own doing and the
yeah,
own rules and things that we put around ourselves and pressures we put on ourselves because some of the things not all of them, we come from a toxic work environment, we know.
for sure.
But some of the things are your own crap that you
Yeah,
have to deal with that
work
I've
through.
learned some where it's like, "Oh, I'm still dealing with some of these struggles, these doubts,
Yeah.
fear of missing out, imposter syndrome, even in my own business with no
Yeah.
one putting this pressure on me. And some of it is the stuff I'm putting on myself.
Yeah.
And so have fun with it and let go of the rules a little bit and
Right.
have fun.
But my last thing that I'll leave you with is your passion is infectious. Okay.
Mhm.
Don't forget that. Share about what you are passionate about. I'm imagining you're passionate about the business that you have. So talk about what lights you up. And
Yep.
we've encountered clients in the past who've said things like, well, but I can really nerd out about such and such. I'm afraid if I overshare, people will think I'm a nerd and that won't be relatable. They're on your page
Mhm.
because they find you relatable. If they're in your audience
Yep.
and they're engaging with your posts, they care about what you care about. And that really translates. Like when you're excited to post something or talk about something, whatever, I
Mhm.
promise you your audience can feel it. And if you are dreading posting it and didn't have fun making it, I promise they can feel that too.
Yep.
So it's really a win win if you start having more fun with your content because your audience will too.
Yeah. And guess what? You can change anytime. You can
Literally.
change it anytime. If it's not working, go back to the old way.
Archive the
If it's
post if
not
you're
working,
embarrassed.
go follow a guru and do their 10 viral hooks and
True.
do that, like, if that works for you. But, like, I mean, what do you got to lose?
No,
Like,
yeah, you're
try it
right.
out, and then if it doesn't work, that's the beauty of it. But again, we put these rules and restrictions on ourselves, and we act like, "Oh, once I post about one thing, I'm stuck in that for life." Like, no,
Yeah,
you're not.
it's not.
It's a little bit more flexible than that. We put those own pressures on ourselves. I put it on us, on myself and everything. So
Yeah,
anyways, go find your own cozy content style and make it feel fun and inviting and not so intimidating.
yeah,
And it's going to take a little bit of experimenting, but that's okay. You're going to learn so much. And that knowledge, that experimenting and looking at the different things that you enjoy and that's working, that's power. Every time you do that, fail or success, that's like knowledge and power to put in your tool belt
yeah.
to continue living life and running a business and everything. So we hope this was helpful. We will talk to you next week. We post a new episode every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we can't wait to talk to you again soon. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.